Hey everybody, this is Mike with Bushido Code. You're listening to Metal-O-Mania with Crip and Scully. Check it out.
Curiosity killed the cat. And now we're aiming to get some fucking revenge.
Oh, shit on a bum. Oh, bum shits on me.
You think you're so cool because you can pee with your penis.
Do you want us to get your dick out of the door, or what's going on? I tried that.
And with Insight, we opened episode number 248 of Metal-O-Mania. And man, I'm excited to open the show up with Insight, but I'm also excited to open up with my brother, my motherfucking Metal at Arms pal. How you doing, Sid?
Good. How are you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
Dude, thank you so much for joining me, man. It means a lot to me, sir.
Appreciate it.
Big fan of you and what you do, man. And matter of fact, we'll talk about Insight in a second, but introduce yourself to the masses who may or may not already. I'm sure they already know who you are, but if they don't, tell them who you are, sir.
I am Sid. I own Inner Demon Media, Inner Demon Records. I own a radio station. Do DJing. I do 4 shows a week 3 of them were talking with demons, similar to what you do here. I meet bands, interview them, shoot the shit. But a lot of it's just like this shenanigans, really. I have these bands on the shelf. We've had people weigh their nuts on scales to see how much their nuts weigh. We had one band, the drummer would, every time we take a break, he would go and switch into another outfit, but it was his wife's clothes, so they're like 3 sizes too small. I mean, we've had guys, band members, crack eggs over their nuts. See if there was how many eggs there was. Bob set them up actually, but yeah, we asked what's the record of how many eggs can a guy break over their crotch. So the lead singer of the band said, "All right, I'll do it." So he went and grabbed an egg to try and see if he could do it. It took him 4 times to even crack it.
4 times to crack an egg. I like it.
He cracked his own eggs, but just not that egg.
I like it, man. I think I'm coming to your studio to hang out and party with you guys, man. I like the way you guys get down.
We try to have fun. You know, we ask the bands questions. Legitimately, we ask questions during the show, but we have a tendency to kind of, you know, go off the path a bit and get into the realm of shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Beautiful word.
And that's a big reason why I love you, brother, man. You know, I love that aspect of it. I love, you know, we have to keep this shit fun. We have to keep it lighthearted, and we have, you know, one foot in the metal thing, but you got to keep some of it in the fun part. And you guys maintain a good chat throughout too, man. There's good participation and shit. You know, I do like that about it. You know, something we lose and maybe putting our show out there where it's kind of like find it on the internet later is that live experience, which is a very cool part of the show, man. I dig that.
I think it's a very important ingredient of what I do.
Yeah, for sure.
Keeping the crowd, the audience, the people who are watching interactive with everything. I mean, sure, I can do the recording shows, but I just find so much joy and just hopping on there, interacting. It gives the bands an opportunity as well. Because there's going to be a lot of new people from the community. I'm in a pagan community. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to mix 2 different worlds together, the pagan community with the music community, and it's working really well. So a lot of these bands that are coming on these shows are going to be, the people that are watching are going to be first time introduced to them. So I take those moments where I think it's very important that while these new people are in here watching these live shows, I can show the comments as they're watching the video for the first time. The bands are seeing what's going on live, and it makes the band feel good as well. And that's really what's about. They're the star of the show.
Fuck yeah, that's way cool, man. That's way cool. And dude, honestly, something we maybe need more than we ever did during this last couple of years. Because man, we've all been on, you know, under the whole fucking hibernation laws and all that kind of bullshit, man. So I can speak for me personally. That's kept that bridge alive to some of these bands that you haven't been able to necessarily go see live.
Yes, it's going to be a very important ingredient for music moving on, because
for sure
we're always going to deal with COVID, and there's always going to be it's never going to go away. So it's up to people like myself and yourself to keep things fresh for the bands, finding new ways for these bands to still be seen and heard. Now, in this day of age, everything's social media and digital downloads, this and that. So that's where it's at. That's where I feel like the attention needs to be at, is in the internet world, the World Wide Web, keeping people on social media interactive with these. I like bringing bands on and performing live shows, because there'll be somebody that's going to be tuning in that's never heard of them or has heard of them, but have not been able or never going to be able to go see them live, whether they're in the United States and they may be in UK.
Right. They might be in Sweden or whatever. Right. Dude, I'll tell you, there's no better compliment. And I'm sure you'll agree, there's no better compliment when you do this kind of thing than someone saying, man, because of your show, I found this band and now it's one of my favorite bands.
It is a good feeling, because when your whole purpose of doing this is bringing a crowd in and be able to keep the crowd engaged in what you're doing, finding new ways, new avenues to do it. So it's really cool when you're doing these shows and these people are watching and they're seeing a different side of the band. They're seeing something that they're not used to, which a lot of the fans of these bands are used to hearing them. They're used to seeing their music videos, but the band's only showing one side of themselves, right? So I take it to the next level. It's like, all right, you know, instead of your normal 20 questions, how about we just get on here? We're gonna make this an organic conversation. We'll start off, of course, asking about the band and where you're from, and then from that point on, it's off to the races.
It's funny you should say that too, because for a lot of metalheads in particular, unlike maybe even any other genre, all you may know of the band you like is the real fucked up artwork on the cover of the album. So to be able to see the guys being joking and laughing and being regular dudes is,
you're seeing them pissed off. And
yeah,
angry,
right.
out
Having
of
opinions and shit, you know, that's important shit, man.
And then you see them on a show and you see them laughing, giggling, showing a different side, talking about sexual acts with each other and this and that. It's stuff like that. They're showing a different side of the band. And I think that makes the bond with their already made fan base even more stronger because they're seeing something different about the band.
Fuck yeah. It lets you have layers to it, man. Layers to it. But I don't want to overlook that we did, in fact, open up the show with Insight. That song was Deadbeat from Wake Up Dead. That's a thrashy groove metal outfit out of Phoenix, Arizona. That release comes out, by the way, on March 25th, and it will be their 6th full-length outing. So go and show them the love, ladies and gentlemen. Pick up some merch from them cats, man. It's all about the merch for us these days. Matter of fact, I got my Trusty Bray Road merch on for everybody tonight. Shout out to Nino and the boys. These are my cats out of Sheboygan. I love saying Sheboygan, so.
That does sound fun.
I love saying that word, Sheboygan, baby. Yes, sir. So, Sheboygan. It's where my buddies Bray Road are from, and it's what me and Scully will be doing later. But anyway, so how you been? Well, let me ask you that. How have you gotten through these last couple of years, man? I know that spring hopefully will be our return to life somewhat, but if I asked you what was the number one thing you did to get through the pandemic years, as we'll come to know and not so much love them, what's your answer to that question, sir?
Doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, a lot of this. You stay busy, man. I will say a big reason I wanted to reach out to you, and I've been a fan of what you do, is I am someone who dives into this thing. I'm investing, 100 hours a week now probably to the fucking metal thing, and I notice you do the same, sir. So much love. Tip of the hat to you, sir.
Well, you have to love what you're doing.
Fuck yeah, man.
You can't jump into this thinking of the rewards.
Well, that's for sure.
Because you love what you do, and if it doesn't show in the moment that I don't feel like I have the passion to do more, I'll eventually stop. But I genuinely love what I do, and so me doing these shows and doing radio shows and managing bands and bringing other podcasts onto the radio station, my goal, I think, in my life, and that brings me the best joy, and it ain't money and it's not fame, it's helping others.
Fuck yeah.
I love seeing people grow. I want to be at least I want to be one step in that ladder of success.
You're preaching to the choir, man. You and I are similar minds and similar spirits, brother, because I was actually asked recently, what's the number one thing you would like to see as the result of the show? And honestly, I want the Oprah Winfrey Book Club effect, man. I want to come out here on one of these shows and I want to say, there's this band you guys are missing, and then literally the next day see the effect of that. You know what I mean? That's what I want. That's my dream.
I'm a bit greedy.
Fuck yeah.
My goal is actually to rule the world.
Let's do it, man. I'm in, brother.
And I don't mean that in a bad way.
But world domination sounds good.
Well, I created everything as being a multimedia company. I want to cover all aspects of the media. I want to be able to bring people onto my shows. I want to have live shows people can watch. They can rewatch later. We have a 24/7 running radio station.
Which you've been kind enough to run some of our audios of our show on that, which I appreciate, brother. Yes, sir.
I still do to this day. You gave me a whole bunch of them. I've still been filtering through.
Yeah, well, man, we got content, brother. Between you and me, we got content.
I watch you all the time.
Look, and to be fair, I'm also not have to bother people all the time. I go to YouTube and I snatch the shows from there as well.
Do it.
For them to audio, and it's just easier that way for me.
Fuck yeah.
I do that. When I do my shows, I got to go to the band's YouTube page and grab their music videos. So as I do that, I grab what I need to get me through the week.
Well, anything you ever need from us, feel free to use at your leisure, my friend. I'm saying this right here on live TV, so you can take that to the bank, brother, for sure, man. Fan of what you do and love what you're doing, man. Well, what's next, too? Because, I'm hoping, anyway, that the spring will be kind of, our return to life a little bit. Well, let me ask you this. I've written down about 1,000 questions. We'll never be able to cover all the questions I wrote down here for you tonight. So that just means I got to get you back on again in the near future, which is a good plan. But what show are you most looking forward to as we talk about returning to normalcy a little bit? What is kind of on your radar right now is, when I go to that show, life has returned somewhat.
I have done, to be fair. I'm not looking forward to any mainstream shows by any mainstream bands. My thing right now is I haven't listened to anything new that's coming out very often, like from mainstream bands. I get so many submissions by so many bands, so I I tend to just to listen to just that. That's always on my radio station. I pick out all new submissions that I get. I do my shows based around those. I mean, I'll do shows once in a while where I'm playing some like classic grunge or some 80s thrash or 80s hair metal, but I like to see Slash and the Conspirators with Plush. I'm really enjoying the new Slash album, number 4. It's really good, so I'm really into that. I want to see Slash. Guns N' Roses just dropped a new song as well called Hard School. So it's pretty decent. So I haven't seen Guns N' Roses since back in 1988, so I think I would like to see them one last time. And I know once Slash is done doing that thing, they're going to go on tour with GNR again. So maybe I'm looking forward to that possibly.
That's funny. Yeah, I saw Guns N' Roses on the Appetite for Destruction tour, man. How long ago was that shit? What year was that? I don't even remember.
The album came out in 87.
Whew. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I've seen them when they toured.
I was 16 years old, brother.
I seen him when they toured with Metallica. It was Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and Faith No More, and he was doing.
I saw that show. Yeah. Where do you live? What city do you live in again?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah. I saw that show in Washington D.C. Man, it was Faith No More, Guns N' Roses, and Metallica in Washington D.C. on that tour.
Metallica had to do 2 sets. They did their set. Axl threw one of his Axl fits.
Oh,
so
fuck!
He didn't perform, so Metallica came back out, gave the fans another hour-and-a-half set. So
those two hate each other still, That's a feud that persists to this day. Axl Rose and James Hetfield and them cats hate each other to this day, man. So
I get it. I mean, Axl was an ass back then.
Yeah, douchebag, man. Quite a fucking doucher. That's funny. It's funny you should bring up like hair metal and stuff. I want to remind everybody out there that Scully's ballad special is on our YouTube channel right now, man. Scully's countdown. There's a little bit of hair metal in there, you guys may notice. So get in there and check out Scully's ballad countdown. So fuck yeah, man. We got some good specials coming up too, so it's gonna be a good time. When you were a kid, what was the last band or group you remember listening to before you became a metalhead? Like prior to, like, see, for me, once I heard like Slayer and Metallica and all that shit, it changed my world and it was over. But what was the last shit you were into before that? Like,
I would say the Cars.
I love the Cars. I love the Cars to this day.
I like Phil Collins.
Fuck yeah. I love all that shit, man.
I was young though at that time. Before
I loved Genesis when I was young.
Well, I got introduced to metal in '83. It was I got introduced to Motley Crue, and it was Shout the Devil when it first came out.
Right.
So once I heard that album, I was done and it was over with. It was a love affair from then.
Yeah.
So, if I got to really date back, I have to say a lot of the music that I listened to back then, before then, was a lot of what my dad listened to. He liked Led Zeppelin. He liked the Bee Gees. He liked Kiss. He liked Elvis. So that was my world for a while.
Fuck yeah. All good shit still. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I play that all the time. Like my father passed away just about a month or so, and I did a special on the station just dedicated to my dad. I played the Bee Gees, the Eagles. I still love that stuff.
Me too, brother. Fuck yeah. I always will. Shit.
Yeah. Bob Seger, he loved Bob Seger, but he loved Megadeth. He loved Metallica. His range as it went on throughout years started kind of expanding over to my side. He started liking the bands that I was liking.
That's great. See, I grew up in a household of all country music people, so they didn't understand my metal stuff at all.
My mom was old school '80s country. Like she listened to old Dolly Parton.
There you go.
Conway Twitty, Willie Nelson.
Yes, sir.
I hated it. That was like torture for me.
I hated it too, man. Well, and I grew up working on job sites with my father, so I had to hear that shit all day on job sites, man. I hated it. I used to fuck with my dad all the time. Like, man, this is the saddest shit ever. What the fuck? I don't get it.
Here I am, 47 years old, like a country.
Yeah. That's good shit, man. Well, my progression was very right to the metal. Motley Crue was a band. Somebody gave me. I had a cassette of Livewire actually right before, and I got it right before Shout at the Devil came out. So I kind of got those right back to back.
Oh yeah, when it was under that whole different label.
Yeah, and I went from I literally went from listening to Weird Al and Chipmunks records. Dr. Demento records. I used to have a bunch of little Dr. Demento 45s.
I absolutely loved. I remember being in 4th grade, and I absolutely loved Michael Jackson's Thriller album.
Oh well, fuck yeah, dude! Come on, who didn't? Anyone who says they didn't is a liar, or they weren't there, man. So
absolutely, I love Prince. One of my favorite albums by Prince was Purple Rain.
I still love Prince.
I wore that out. ZZ Top was another one.
How could you not love ZZ Top? I still love Prince. Prince was a motherfucking genius. I don't care what anybody says. Prince was a genius.
Brother. I agree 100%. You know, I think he was really ahead of his time, especially during that generation. He was a black man busting out in the scene and a scene that he was fitting into at the time was rock. Purple Rain was a rock album.
Fuck yeah. Oh, yeah, rock. Oh, he was a guitar player. And, you know, they say he could pick up any instrument on this planet and play the fuck out of it, you know?
There's not many people like that. Even today.
Oh, forget it. Yeah.
Like that's a certain kind of talent. And Prince is just one of those certain kind of talents.
There was talk recently about the Super Bowl halftime show. Was this one good, bad, or whatever? Whatever your opinion was, in my opinion, Prince had the best halftime show ever.
Prince had the best Super Bowl, but I did really enjoy watching Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and all those guys. I'm a fan of that old school West Coast, East Coast rap.
Dude, my metal friends are so torn. I know people that either love it or hated it. Honestly, it wasn't for me, but that's not my genre. That's not my style. You know what I mean? And which I can live with. Not everything's supposed to be for every fucking body. So
I've always tried to be open about things. But I tell you what, when Dr. Dre first came out, when he left, I liked him back when he was with NWA.
I remember the NWA record when it came out, took over the world. I remember that shit.
It was something. It was a breath of fresh. For me, it was a breath of fresh air at the time. There was just something different about it. Now, I'm not a huge fan of rap. Don't get me wrong, but I can value the talent that it takes to be able to write these rhymes out, to be able to put them in words. There's no way I could talk as fast as some of these guys and make it sound near as good. Dude,
we should do a metal special at one point even where we talk about those rap records that broke through to the metalheads, because there's been several, and that was one of them. You know, I remember when that record came out, all the metalheads were listening to that record all the time, dude. So
The Chronic, Dr. Dre.
That's another one. That's another.
I mean, whether you're a metalhead or not, those albums
right.
Good,
right?
And it was because they was.
Well, it had the same message, right? It spoke to you on that visceral level, just like metal does. I feel like there's a similarity there.
The Dr. Dre album was just it was like they was just speaking freedom. You know, they didn't care. They was talking about marijuana. They wasn't caring about. They was out drinking with their buddies. They just said fuck it and went with it. And I think that's why I liked it so much, is because they didn't care.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let's play everybody a couple songs real quick, and we're going to revisit this. We'll talk more about this along these lines when we get back here. But we're hanging out with my buddy Sid tonight, by the way, from Enter Demon. You guys, man, and I appreciate this, Sid, big time, brother. You rock for doing this. Means a lot to me, man. For real.
Have me on, man.
Well, let's play two quick jams for everybody. We're going to open this up with Idle Ruin, man. Idle Ruin is a badass band out of Australia. They got the thrashiness. They got the deathiness. We played some shit off of their EP, which was their debut last year. Almost 2 years ago now. And now they have a single out called Valley Inferno. Can't wait to play it for you. And behind that, we're going to play Chugger, man. Chugger is a badass band out of Sweden. Melodic, deathy groove stuff. I really love what they're doing. This song is actually a reimagining. We're going to play 5 Feet Down, which is a reimagining of their song they released in 2015. It's updated. I think it's more badass.
Nice.
Enjoy it and come on back, because me and Sid are hanging out. We're not going nowhere, so neither should you. Metal-O-Mania.
Parties in the valley. I don't want to go to the valley. Trust me. I don't want to go to the valley. I'm not in the mood to go to the valley. Oh, yeah, of course. We'll remember you now. Yeah. Now we'll remember you because you tried to set us on fire and take your revenge.
Yeah.
If you're looking for Mr. Quaylen, try about 4,000 feet south of here. He'll be the one wearing a helicopter.
Easy on the mouth plate, light frottage, no anal. Until after the first wheelbarrow, then it's all anal. Just pound it in there until we shoot the bucket. Let's try to keep a cum radius of about 3.2.
And there you go. That's a 2-pack of badassery here at Metal-O-Mania. That's how you do metal, baby. That's how you do metal, man.
That was some sweet sounding tunes right there.
The 2022 two-for punch, you know?
Yeah, that's a knockout.
Yeah, and we're hanging out with my buddy Sid, man. And if you're not already, I hope that you will be by the end of the show, following on Interdemon Media, Interdemon Records, Interdemon Radio, man. You guys are covering the board like a spider web, and I love you for it, man. I love the work you're putting in, man. Mad respect, for real.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
We were talking a little bit about, you know, the genius that was Prince and some of that shit, man. I'm going to ask you along those lines. What what are some more of your non-metal loves, if you will, man? I always am fascinated because, you know, I'm a metalhead. Don't get me wrong. I love my metal. I've dedicated my life to it, as have you, if you don't mind my noticing. But it's not all there is. There's other things. And
there's definitely more layers to my musical taste. That's
fuck
for sure.
yeah.
I'm a big fan of pagan folk music.
Killer. Fuck yeah.
Something about listening to these bands playing, and it just, for me, it's like like just sitting back and just meditating, and it just relaxes me. I love the sounds of the guitars and the drums and the chants. So I like that. But as far as like mainstream, some of my hidden bands I don't talk about, artists I don't talk about much, is I like Pink. I think I enjoy her music. I think that she puts out some really quality, good message songs out there for the ladies, for the women. I think that she has her call is to empower women. I think speaks far beyond what she puts out in music. So I have to respect her. She's a strong, independent woman. I respect that. So that's one of my hidden loves.
Right, one of those hidden gems and shit. Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, man, I got a billion. You know, you mentioned the cars earlier, which is funny because I was just talking to Necrotic Nick from Thralls of Metal about those guys earlier in the week because I'm a huge cars guy. I actually have quite an affinity for 80s pop, man. I'm not afraid to tell you that.
Me too. I mean, it's back then, that's what you heard a lot of.
Right. It takes me back to, you know, I was a fucking young, dumb idiot, man. Young, dumb, full of cum, as it were. So it kind of takes me back to that shit, man. Now that I'm an old bastard, it's nice to relive some of that, you know.
Well, when you listen to these songs, it brings you back to that time and era, but also it reminds me of what MTV used to be about, right? You would have these day-long videos of bands like Men at Work and Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. You get these videos, Cyndi Lauper, Michael Jackson.
I miss all that shit, dude. I miss all that shit.
And then for me, I always waited for the 4 o'clock hour, 4 o'clock p.m. evening. I wait for back when it started. They had a show called The Metal Shop, and this is before Headbangers Ball.
Right, before Headbangers Ball, right.
It's just a 30-minute block a day, every day at 4 p.m. of you getting nothing but bands like Scorpions, Judas Priest.
I think Rob Halford might have like hosted it or once or something like that. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it was actually Billy Idol that hosted it for.
Oh no shit! That's awesome. Yeah.
I think he hosted it. It didn't last long, and then MTV had the idea of doing the Saturday nights of Headbangers Ball, which was a fucking genius because my Saturday nights was always busy watching Headbangers Ball.
Yeah. Oh man. Do you remember Friday night videos too, man? There was Friday night videos where, you know, not all of it was metal, obviously. You had to dig through the crap, and every now and again they'd slip you a Suicidal Tendencies video or something. But then there would be that on Friday nights, and then Saturday nights was Headbangers Ball, man. I was a young fuckhead. I used to look forward to that shit like crazy,
I can remember when like the daily top 10 would come out on MTV. When it very first came out, it was dominated by hair metal bands.
Fucking right, yeah. White Snake and all the Guns N' Roses era shit.
Van Halen, you had all the big Skid Row was on there watching them. Motley Crue was always a guarantee to be on there. Then back then, but that, you know, once again, takes us back and it reminds you what music and what it was back then. 80s was a fun time.
It was a fun time, brother. Yep, it was. It was. Well, you know, and it's funny you should mention like Van Halen. For me, I still to this day, every single year on the first summery feeling day, the first day it's sunny outside, I go and I turn up Van Halen. I turn up David Lee Roth era Van Halen, and I play it all day long. It's tradition around here. That, you know, that's our announcement that, you know, summertime has arrived every year. So
I love that. I love
fuck
that.
yeah, dude. You can't go wrong. I love that shit. I'll love that shit till I die, you know. Well, and I was asked earlier today, actually, what kind of shit I want at my funeral. That's the shit I want at my funeral. The shit I was young and making my bones to, man. You know what I mean?
I want really tight jeans.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I want my blue jean jacket with patches and buttons on it. Make sure my hair is long. I want the mullet.
Damn right. Did you ever have to wear parachute pants, man? Or I guess not have to. Did you?
I mean,
yeah.
I
Fuck yeah.
Parachute. I think I had a pair of those when I was in 4th grade. So yes. But they was cool though, right? I mean,
fuck yeah.
1,000 fucking zippers, but made no sense.
Dude, what's funny is way too young to have a job at a liquor store. My older brother was a manager of a liquor store, and he would give me something like $2 an hour to come in and stock shelves 1 or 2 nights a week. But it was during the era of parachute pants, man. And I would shove little bottles of liquor in every one of my pants. I would walk out of there, click, clank, click, clank, click, clank, click, clank.
Just the 80s was a different decade.
Oh, man.
What
Good times,
cool
dude.
about it, we transitioned from the 70s, which was the Southern rock type of feel. We was going through all the peace, love songs because of Vietnam. And
Right.
then Vietnam ended.
And it was party time.
And then 80s came out, and it was like, it was right, party time.
Fuck
Let's
yeah.
indulge. Let's overdo everything. And that's exactly what they did back then.
Right.
I miss it.
Well, and that decade is very much a statement in and of itself because, you know, the early 80s were fun. They were, you know, how much excess can you get away with? By the late 80s, it had played its hand some, let's be honest. Not too many of us were good at finding that line between here and, you know, common sense. So
80s, though, it was great.
it was a story of excess in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and then by the time the 80s was ending, people got tired of seeing the same bands.
Right.
Long hair, hairspray, singing
Right.
love songs.
It was symbolized by Chris Holmes even in the Decline of Western Civilization, the scene where he's in the pool and he's guzzling the bottle of vodka with his mother sitting behind him looking. And that scene was a dagger to the knife. Yeah, I mean, a dagger to the heart of the entire, you know, scene at that point, I feel like.
Yeah, well, once Nirvana came out, the landscape of music once changed again. I feel pretty fortunate to be able to live long enough to experience these different evolution of music, you know? I really feel blessed that I've been able to experience all that.
You know, I'm so glad you bring that up, man, because that is something I know that you and I view very differently, because I know that you are one of those cats that does embrace the grunge movement, and I'm very much not. Oh, and it's perfectly all right. Let me say for everybody out there watching, we have a difference of opinion, and we're going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to agree on everything.
But apparently you're not allowed to do that these days. But I value and respect your difference of opinion on it. But for me, I've said it too many times on the show now, but I definitely watched the metalhead movement become the grunge movement with disdain. I thought
I didn't like it either.
Yeah, the anger of yesterday became the self-depression of today.
A lot
and
of my favorite bands because of grunge.
Right.
A lot of the bands that I was growing up to.
Right.
Ended. They ended what they was doing because of grunge. And
right.
It upset me that because I thought, well, what is this crap? These guys are not talented. They're not getting up here doing any ripping guitar solos. And then I had to stop and think to myself, what is the message that these guys are putting out? These bands in the grunge era. What was the attention? What was it all about? What was the hype? And I got to thinking about it. I was like, okay, there is a message here that we're going to go against the grain of what everybody thinks the normal is. We're angry at everybody. We're angry at the world, and us Generation Xers was expressing it through the music. We didn't care if you had pretty hair. We're just going to get up here on the stage, strip down, and play music. Am I a big fan of it? No, I think there's a lot of.
I get that. I guess I do. I get that. I mean, I get it. It was the natural response to the hair metal movement, which, let's be honest, at that point was a parody of itself. It was a joke movement, right? I mean, metalheads did ourselves no favor in leaving the door wide open for something like grunge to come along. I fully agree with that. I didn't think they were very talented musicians, most of them, in particular Nirvana in the beginning. I didn't get what all the hype was about. I still don't in a lot of ways, to be honest with you. And I love all you metalheads out there. You're more than welcome to disagree with me. We don't have to agree on shit. I
have to agree with you as well, too. I mean, I don't think it was about the musicianship. But it was about what they were writing and what they was trying to represent. That was just going against the grain, I guess.
Well, see, right. You just said, though, the anger. I feel like we lost anger in that transition, to be honest with you. That's one of the things I pin on grunge is, if anything, it was anger at self and maybe inward anger and stuff. And fuck that, man. I didn't like that.
And everything was drug-induced then as well.
Right, for sure. Well, that's for sure.
And cocaine and this meth.
Well, see, the 80s was the party decade. We did our cocaine. We did our fucking pot. It was wide open party drugs. When the grunge movement happened, it brought the opiates back. It brought the whole heroin movement came back with it, man. I don't think by accident that, that whole movement was about self-depression and loathing, and with it came a drug that masks exactly those symptoms.
And to be fair, grunge did come in and left just about as quick as it came in.
It did. You're right.
It didn't last very long. And then
It did not.
We had to go through that period of time during the 90s that, well, the rock didn't really have an identity.
Right. Right. You're so correct.
In 2000s came rolling in, we started getting new metal.
Well, in particular, late 90s was the new metal, right, and new metal. And then that whole avant-garde thing that kind of happened for a while there, the djent movement, I guess, if you will. And I wasn't a fan of most of that, honestly. I thought most of it was self-aggrandizing bullshit. Watch how amazing I can play my guitar for 45 minutes. Like, holy shit, write a song, motherfucker. But
I'm not a big fan of instrumentals either myself.
See, I can get with it, but give me some structure. You know what I mean? Give me some. If you're just wildly ripping it apart, I'll go with that for a minute. But if that's all you're doing for 2 hours, I can't keep my attention. I have a pretty good attention span compared to nowadays, but I still can't follow that for 2 hours. I just, if you're going to Yngwie Malmsteen me for 2 straight hours, I don't have that much.
Take breaks and loot me up.
Right, exactly. Fuck, I'm gaping here and shit. What the fuck? That's
I'm
good
trying
shit.
to get a rash and it's starting to hurt. You're going to start looking that motherfucker out.
It's starting to hurt, man. It's starting to hurt.
I do like where music is going to, where music's now that's coming. I like what music is at today. I think that gives a lot of opportunity to give everybody an equal footing in the industry.
For talent to be, yeah. If you have talent now, you can get it out there and it's going to rise to the top. I believe that too.
You're in an era now where you don't need a record label to support you.
That's right.
There's lots of amazing unsigned independent artists out there that are doing amazing things. Like a band I enjoy listening to is a band called Adelita's Way. I like these guys. They've been doing it on their own. They got thousands and thousands and thousands of people following them. Every video they make, the fans support and fund.
That's what's up, man. That grassroots level shit is where it's at right now.
Everything is a level playing field. Unless you're a band that's been around like Metallica or bands like that that's been established, and of course these bands are going to sell records. You just know they're going to do. Outside of that, though, everybody's almost at a level playing field. Right.
Nowadays, what really gets tested is not just your musical ability, but your marketing ability. So,
everything is nowadays it makes things a bit easier for the bands to get themselves heard and not having to depend on record labels or getting picked up on a syndicated radio station. Now you got internet radio stations everywhere.
Yeah.
Playing these guys more so than what they would if it was getting played syndicated.
So true, man. So true. Thank God in a lot of ways, because with the lack of shows over the last couple of years, man, I do wonder, had it not been for some of these outlets, what kind of damage it might have done. So I wonder how many musicians would have just packed up their shit and said, I can't do it anymore.
I've come across quite a few, sadly, that's split up or reformatted the band or just gave up. I've seen that several this year. Some of these bands were really, I was blown away that they wasn't big acts already, and they had such a good quality sound, but COVID hit, and it just busted things up for them. They got discouraged. They just dropped a new album, and then here you go, COVID hits. You can't tour on it. You have to learn things all over again about how to get out here on social media and market your stuff. It wears on a lot of bands.
Oh, yeah. And then the live, trying to do live online shows, which never sound great. You know what I mean? You gotta rely on the listener to have good speakers for that to be worth the fuck, and that's a gamble.
There's a lot that goes on behind that to get shows like that played. The bands have to have proper audio equipment like mixers and stuff to be able to connect.
Yeah, so much can go wrong, right? I mean,
and once again, like you said, it's technology. So many things can go wrong.
Yeah,
there's a beauty behind that as well. There's a beauty behind that that they're actually getting up there doing it, and they're forging through whatever issues they're having. I do shows almost every show. I have some sort of technical issue live. It's all about how you recover from it and keep going. Do you laugh at it or do you worry about it? It's a show. I'm live. It's organic. Let's just go with it.
Let's go. Well, and another part of that too, man, as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. And with not being able to get out on the stage, I love that the bands have chosen to find some way to make connections with their fans. So whatever it takes, It
was a no-brainer for me. I was like, this is how this is what music is going to be at. This is the best way to get bands heard is through social media, getting their name out here, because you're going to be able to potentially reach millions more than what you would if you was out there putting flyers on a telephone pole.
Yeah, man. Back in the day, brother. Hey, when we started our show 6 years ago, I was doing that shit. I was going to Baltimore and putting flyers on. Oh, I don't miss that shit. But anyway, I tell you what. Speaking of badasses who are doing metal, let's bring in my brother Frankie from Chemicide for a minute and talk him up a little bit. They got a brand new release coming out, as a matter of fact, called Common Sense. And man, could the world use a little bit of that right about now? You know I could. So, especially according to Scully. So, but you know, we talked to Frankie actually a few years ago now on the show. It was all the way back in, I believe, 2017. So this is the return of my brother, and I'm looking forward to it. So. But don't go anywhere. We're going to keep hanging out with my brother Sid from Interdemon fucking Media, Interdemon Radio, my brother at arms, and we got more ground to cover, so don't go anywhere. But we're going to bring in my brother Frankie from Costa Rica to talk about the brand new album for a little bit. So here you go. Sid, I love you, brother. I appreciate this, sir. Mr. Frankie's here. Let's talk to him.
And now for something completely different.
All right, Metal-O-Maniacs. Well, I tell you what, there's something in the air here tonight because we not only just got through listening to our first behind-the-scenes pre-release listen to the upcoming outing from these cats, but we got them in the studio to talk to us on Zoom as well, man. What's up, Frankie? How you been, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be back, man. Happy to be back, and I'm happy to, you know, for all you guys to listen to the tunes, man. I'm just glad, man. It's 2022, man. Coming out with a new record. Yes, it's just amazing for me, man. So I'm happy to be back.
Well, what a good time in the world, man. We were listening to it. Here are some of the remarks. So, you know, some of the remarks that just flew around the studio while we were listening to this, man. This album announces spring has arrived. It was one of the things that was said. Scully said, this is already my favorite album of 2022 right now. So there you go. There's that. And then another remark was said, man, this is going to destroy people when we see it live on stages. So, man, fucking exciting. Literally, we just got through listening to it, man. And for those who do not know, this is my main man, Frankie from Chemicide, who have this brand new release coming out in 12 days called Common Sense, man. And fuck yeah, dude. I'm excited as fuck. This is such badassery, sir.
I'm happy that you guys liked it, man. I mean, to be honest, it's always nerve-wracking to put out a new record. You know, it's, you know, this type of interactions, man. Like, you know, people listen to the record, you know, once it comes out, and well, it's not out yet, but you know, what I mean, is that feeling, that sensation is always great, man, and it's always nerve wracking, you know, just, you know, having people listen to it. So I'm glad that you guys liked it, man.
We've talked in the past. You came on the show in 2019, actually, literally, I think 11 days before Inequality came out, which is another album I loved. We played a lot of that here on the show, man. Big fan of that as well. But that was 11 days before that release, and here we are roughly that same amount before the next release. So I appreciate you fuck out of you coming and hang out with us for this shit, man.
Yeah, man, of course. I mean, it's always fun to do these things, man, especially with you guys. So how am I not going to come back?
I love you, brother. Well, and dude, I got to tell you, man, this is a fucking riff monster. This is a riff monster. There's no relent. There's no letdown. There's no... From the very beginning of this, we literally were just running around the studio breaking things from the very beginning to the very end, man. So, dude, home run, brother. Home run, my friend.
Oh, dude, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I mean, that was the whole point of the record. I mean, it was making it a little bit more, I guess, in your face and having riffs, you know, for days, man. That was the part. So I'm glad that we can you know check it out, man.
Oh man, put a big check next to Riff Monster, man. Riff Monster, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Well, we were talking a little bit before we actually went on air about it is still a crazy time in the world, man. But like I said, when we were listening to this album in here, a couple of people were like, dude, this is spring. This is the soundtrack to springtime. This is and not just springtime, but springtime 2022. The spring emerging from literally 2 years of winter. You know what I mean? Somebody was joking earlier that it was like the Game of Thrones, man. Like, you know,
pretty
winter
much
is coming. Yeah, we've been in fucking wintertime for 2 years, it feels like.
It came and never left, man. It came and never left. God damn.
Well, dude, spring has been announced, man. Spring is coming is our new mantra. And, dude, dare I say it, Common Sense may very well be its soundtrack, sir.
Well, I'm hoping that it turns out to be the soundtrack of, you know, fucking 2022, man. Not just the springtime, but the whole thing, man. Because, you know, yeah, this past 2 years, man, they sucked for, you know, I guess for every band out there, man. It's just, It's just it sucks, man. I mean, like you can't be out, on the road. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. Doing virtual shows is fun and and all that shit, but it's not the same. I mean, you need to have people.
brother.
You need to have people, next to you, jumping around and shit like that. You need that energy. You got to feed off of it. So.
Fuck yeah. We had someone tell us recently, man. Web shows are to live experiences what jerking off is to sex. You know what I mean?
Well, pretty much, yeah.
Right.
It's like watching porn, man. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. You need the light shit, man. You know what I mean?
Right, man. It's got a shorter window of temporary satisfaction. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, man. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, like I enjoy doing this shit and whatnot. And for people, I mean, we have to connect with people, but. It's just like me watching fucking Metallica back in the 90s, man. I mean, it's the exact same thing. I mean, I'm like, oh, that's great, but I'm not there to to witness this, so.
Right. Yeah, it's not the same, brother. Well, and let's be honest, metal more so than even, in my opinion, I guess, maybe I'm biased because I'm a metalhead. But metal demands a live performance, man. You can kind of listen to pop on the radio. It's the same fucking thing that you're going to see on the live show for the most part. But metal is different, man. Metal has an energy live. Metal is a feed off of your fellow metalhead thing live, man, that I think we've really been missing so terribly much these last couple
of
years.
just the fact that there's no mosh pits, man. I mean, you can't do a mosh pit here. I mean, in the living room with your cat and your dog, man. But, it's not the same thing than being out with your friends and, fucking jumping off stage, man, doing stage diving and shit like that. It's different, man.
So, Scully stopped moshing with me here in the studio. She said it's always just what I'm trying to use it as foreplay. So again, not the same.
No, it ain't the same, man. It ain't the same.
I've heard the term that's gained a lot of traction here over the last couple of years. The new wave of old school thrash. And I see, it has a website. There's a couple of websites with that name. And I see that you guys tend to appear on there fairly often. How do you feel about that title? I guess for starters.
Well, I gotta say I'm pretty honored, man. Because the thing is that I think that we're a classic thrash metal band. I mean, the bands that are influenced us is just Demolition Hammer, Slayer, Sepultura, this kind of bands. But we're also influenced by the hardcore punk scene, from the 80s, like Bad Brains, Cro-Mags, and Poison ID and Agent Orange, all those bands. So when we come up and because I've seen that, and a lot of friends always tag us on those posts. So it's weird for me, to be honest, to seeing people talking really good things about the band, but it's at the same time it's cool, man. I mean, and I like it. I don't know about the whole new wave of old school thrashing, because I don't know if we fit right in there, because a lot of people say that we're just a punk band playing heavier riffs. That's it.
a punk band with better riffs. I find both of those statements to be true. Honestly, new wave of old school thrash I think is accurate, and a punk band with thrash riffs is also accurate, because False Democracy, for example, on the new record, which again I got to hear already, you guys, so pre-order this. But False Democracy is almost a straight ahead punk rock song, man. I mean, it's got a killer riffs behind it, which does elevate it for sure. But I mean, it's got a punk message. It's got a punk feel to it. What do you say to that?
That's the thing, man. I mean, like, when I wrote the album, man, I was listening to a lot of Poison ID. I was listening to a lot of, what do you call this thing? Misfits and shit like that. And I usually tend to go towards the, what's happening with our countries, I guess. Corruption is everywhere, poverty and crime is going up again. It's so here in Latin America, we see a different type of reality that most of the countries, I guess, in Europe don't see, I guess. And it's just crazy, man. Like, people disappear, people get killed by their own governments, shit like that. And I know all of us, we have, I guess, a fantastic idea of what democracy is, because we go out and we vote for people that we think they're going to do good for the country. But at the same time, those people that are there to, that we're voting for them, they're pre-selected for us. You know what I mean? Somebody already put them there. People in power put the people that we need to vote for them. So
they already have a corporate sticker on that ass by the time you hear that.
Exactly. And either if you go for this guy or this guy, it's exactly the exact same fucking thing. I mean, you're voting for somebody that was pre-selected for you, and all you got to do is, either choose the red or blue pill. I mean, whatever poison, you want to take.
They're happy with either one you take, as long as you take one of them. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there's no other way around them. So that's the reason of the title.
Well, that's fucking kick ass, man. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the release date coming up. That is in 12 days from the night we're airing and talking to everybody out here, man. What is the best way that people can? Is that available for pre-order right now, or is that? Talk to me.
Yeah, man. So yeah, you can go to our Bandcamp. It's chemicide.bandcamp.com. We're the only Chemicide in the world, so that's a good thing. So you can just put Chemicide everywhere, and we'll come up. Our ugly mugs will come up on social media, whatever. We're bringing out new merch, man. We're bringing out everything that we can, pretty much. We actually partner up with 4 different independent labels across America and Europe. We're working with Rip Right Records in Canada. They're going to put out the record out for Canada, US, Japan, and China. So far as in Europe as well. Concreto Records in Mexico. They're going to put it all in Latin America. Marquee, they're putting it out in Brazil, because Brazil's pretty much a whole fucking continent is just huge.
Fuck yeah. The scene is on fire right now too.
They're bringing out bangers every fucking day, man. So
for sure,
we definitely need to make a mark there. And Ragnarok Records in Germany, they're putting the record in Germany and most of the parts in Europe. So we're bringing everything out, man. I mean, it's gonna be on. You can pre-save it on Spotify. You can get, if you want to support the band, just get on Bandcamp. Get the merch, get the t-shirts, get the sweaters, get the hoodies, get whatever you want, man. We're working, tirelessly to get new merch out, man. We just put out a few t-shirts of one of the songs that we released for the new record, and they flew out the shelves, man, to be honest. And the new Common Sense t-shirts are coming out. We're just taking a little longer to make them because we just want to make sure that they have the quality that it's needed for the artwork. So I think they're gonna come up on March 20th, to be honest. So
cool.
once we got them, once we get them, you can just get it on our Bandcamp site, and that's it. You get it. We will ship it out anywhere in the world.
Well, I have you guys set up where whenever you put something on Bandcamp, it alerts me. So
it notifies you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. That's what you got to do. Just follow the band, and it'll hit you with a message, man.
Oh yeah, that's what you got to do. And follow this band, Chemicide. Follow them on YouTube. Follow them on Facebook. Follow them on Instagram. Follow them on Bandcamp and pick up some merch, man. I'm telling you, I'm a big fan of the band, sir. And even more than that, I'm a big fan of you, man. I appreciate your time hanging out with us, Frankie, man. For real.
Nah, man. I appreciate I appreciate you guys and having me on back in the show. I mean, again, I've told you this before, but to me, man, it's very important that to have this this little spaces with you guys to connect with you and connect with the people that listen to your show. Because I mean, let's be honest. I mean, all the big bands, they have their own platforms and and their own shit to go through. But for us underground bands, connecting with people, connecting with you guys especially, makes a difference. So it's an honor, honestly.
Man, I love you, brother, for real. And I'll tell you, all these Metal-O-Maniacs, they're much more plugged in and want to hear from the underground bands these days, man. That's who they want to hear. That's you cats are the guys they want to hear from. And
oh man, I appreciate it.
All of you metalheads out there, pick up and pre-order your copy of Common Sense, because this I literally just got through listening to it from start to finish right before Frankie and I talked. I swear to you on my life, I could not be more excited about this release, man. It's going to be the soundtrack of the summertime for a lot of you thrashers out there, man. You thrashers who like the old school feel to your shit, you're about to have or eargasms out of your fucking head holes, man. For real, I mean it, brother.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. I'm just very excited that the album's going to come out, very shortly, and I just want to go out and tour it, man. That's it. I want to hit the road, man.
Fuck yeah. Well, I hope to see you on stage, my friend, very soon.
Nice, man. Appreciate that.
Hey, Frankie, thank you for coming by too, brother.
Yeah, man. Again, it's an honor, man. I appreciate it.
We'll hit everybody right now in the face with a banger from the brand new upcoming release, Common Sense.
Hey, guys, this is Frankie from Chemicide. You're listening to Metal-O-Mania with the Crypt and Scully.
You are a madman. I want to party with you, cowboy.
I remembered loving Frankie last time he came on the show, and I love him even more. I mean, how cool is that guy, dude? What a nice fucking dude.
That was a great interview.
Fucking, I love that dude. I love that he fucking hangs out with us. I love this Common Sense too. It's not out yet for everybody, but he did send us a copy of it to check out. And thrash heads out there, I can't tell you enough. I can't stress it enough. You're gonna really, really love this album, man. It harkens back to the early, thrash era days for me, man. These cats are very quickly making a name for me as potentially being one of the big four of thrash today. If you had made a bit. Well, and you know what? That's my first question for you. And I know I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't give you any homework or any prep here, but
I love it.
If you had to pick a big four of thrash metal today, we have the Slayer, Anthrax, Megadeth, and Metallica was the original big four. But if you had to pick one kind of post 2020 or era, what are the names, that you might throw out there? I might put Chrysix out there as a potential, maybe, potentially.
Once again, to be fair, I don't really keep up with any a whole lot of bands.
I'm going to drag you in on our show every week, man. I'm going to start dragging you in here every week and start just blasting this new stuff at you.
That would be awesome. I listen to. I have a lot of music so submit it to me. If I could give you my top four of what I think are my top four thrash bands that I'm listening to, would I say that they're the top, the big four? No,
right,
I mean, but
need more homework. Well, man, I'll throw some names out there for you and for our metalheads out there. I think Havoc is a contender for sure. Potentially Warbringer, maybe Amkin.
I've heard of Warbringer. They are a good band.
Warbringer's silly good. Angelus Abatrita's doing it. Evile is one for me that's really out there killing it, and Hatriot. So yeah, there's some good thrash stuff going on. And again, Chemicide, one right there in the books for it. So there you go. But anyway, welcome back to Hanging Out with me and Sid. My man Sid from Inner Demon Records is hanging out with me. Inner Demon Media, Inner Demon Radio, hanging out with me tonight on episode fucking 248 of Metal-O-Mania. Almost hard to believe we're this deep into this crazy shit, man. 6 years into it, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy still. But, you know, we were talking in the last break a little bit about some nostalgia things, and we were talking about some 80s era things, and a few weeks ago on the show, we had opened the floodgates a little bit on some of the things we lost from that era. And one of those things, and I want to put your brain in that, is because I know you're my age. You remember going to the record stores, man. Remember record stores? How awesome were record stores?
I missed that. There was one
Dude.
in the city that was called Karma Records that I missed. Missed going in there, thumbing through the records, see what something. Even if it was cassettes, I didn't care. I just liked going to the record store, whether it was vinyl, whether it was cassette tape. And I just enjoy, even or CDs even.
Yeah, right. Even later when that became an exchange thing, the smell of I can still smell them. When I think, yeah,
taking the plastic off of the cassette, and then open the cassette up, and you get that fresh smell of that cardboard sleeve.
Yeah, oh man, and the paper with the word. Sometimes you wanted to open it up and see if the lyrics were in it and shit. I mean,
that was always the thing. I wanted to see my band pics, and I wanted to see the lyrics. That way, I could sing along to the band.
Fuck yeah, dude! And I can't help but feel like something was lost there. Something was lost in that process, brother.
Digital download.
Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah.
And it closed a lot of these record stores down. I mean, they don't sell now. Here lately, the trend has been vinyls. You can go to Walmart, places like that, and they have a vinyl music section, but not a lot of CDs. But they have looks like they got more vinyls sitting out than they do CDs or anything else.
Right, so vinyl's making a big comeback.
Yeah, so it's nice to see that kind of evolution of that cycle of it coming back around again. I got some cassette tapes, so I would really like to see the cassette players come back.
Oh man, well, honestly, I wouldn't, and only for selfish reasons. When I eventually grew my big CD collection, I had at that point, man, I had boxes and boxes of cassette tapes. I bet it was 1,000 cassette tapes. I'm not even kidding. I used to have a big boom box. A buddy of mine had a big boom box that had 4 cassette players on it. So we would all buy cassettes and then make copies for our friends, you know. Napster before Napster, if you will. And
doing that.
Fuck yeah, dude. We all had little bootleg copies, but man, I had boxes with shit my handwriting written, but I gave boxes and boxes of that shit away, dude. So if it came back now, I would miss all that shit.
Our mixtapes back then was us listening to the radio station with a cassette in it, trying to catch a recording on live on the radio.
Fuck yeah, man. Thomas Dolby with fucking Casey Kasem introducing that shit. Like, dude, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Fuck yeah, dude. Casey Kasem introducing Blinded Me with Science, man. That shit takes me right back to that shit.
She blinded me with science.
I think his name was one of my favorites back then, and this was the 70s and early 80s, Wolfman Jack.
Oh, dude, I loved Wolfman Jack. I wanted to be Wolfman Jack when I was little. The first year that we did our show, we ran a promo where I referred to myself as the Wolfman Jack of metal, sir.
Hell yeah. Then, as I started becoming more different kind of shows, I started really becoming a big fan of Howard Stern and what he was doing.
Yeah.
His shock rock method of doing things, I really enjoyed.
Officially, I should have had more kills. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. I was in a gook village, and I come upon a schoolhouse. So I grab one of my grenades off my belt, and I throw it right into the schoolhouse. And I blow up the whole damn thing. So I'm out there counting all the bodies.
You threw a grenade into a school?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. I must have killed like 200 kids. My dickhead lieutenant comes up to me, and he says, Stern, those are little kids. That counts as one person.
And to be fair, I kind of model my shows after him. I tell everybody that works with me, I'm like the Howard Stern of the pagan community.
Dude, tell me more about that, if you don't mind. Will you educate a fool on the pagan community? If you were put on point and said, educate a fool on the pagan community, how would you put it out there?
Okay, so like basically paganism, just to keep it simple, is like an umbrella word for all beliefs or religious backgrounds. It's kind of it's a safe word, basically. You know, it covers everything. Now it's up to the individual what path they want to follow, whether it's Norse or Greek mythology or just witchcraft or just anything, even Christianity. Even Christianity is under that pagan umbrella. And there's always been this big stigma, and that's why I've always been such an advocate. I'm not afraid to say what I am. because there's always been this stigma about pagans. There's always been this stigma about their devil worshippers, this and that, and it's polar opposite. And I think that was a lot of my drive and passion for doing Inner Demon Media. Yeah, you see the goat's head as our logo, but that's not even what we even represent. There's a spiritual meaning behind Inner Demon Media. Everybody has inner demons. I have them. Everybody has them, right? We've either it's through trauma, through family members, trauma to yourself, whether you're doing drug addiction, alcoholism, online gambling, whatever it is. We all have these demons. And as individuals, we tend to run for those demons or hide them, to cover them up, so we don't want nobody to know, and we don't even want to know, right? That's why we hide them, because we don't even want to acknowledge them. But I, on the other hand, accept them full-heartedly, because all that stuff that's happened in your life has a purpose, right? There's a reason behind it. It's up to you to find out what that lesson is and grow from it. If it keeps on happening, you're not learning something.
That's right,
if you're going back to jail 15, 20 times, you're not learning something. You're missing. That's what you're
missing the lesson in there, brother. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole idea was if it's just for everybody, for a community of people to get together and just, you can never really be truly happy with yourself if you hide behind the faces.
Dare I say it, the human experience comes with inner demons. I mean, let's be honest.
That's it.
Does,
that's it. It's about trying to touch humans and reminding them of what it's like to be human. We live in a fast-paced world. We everything's zipping and zinging. We got to do this. We got to do that. We don't take the moments to appreciate ourselves, and we don't take the moments to find true happiness because we're so busy. We don't want to take the time to acknowledge those inner demons you have. That's why I'm here. That's my purpose. Is that, look, it's okay. You want to be happy. You want to have a relationship. You want to be married. You want to have kids. You got to learn how to change yourself within to start creating your own reality outside.
I fucking love you, Sid. My father had a great saying that I always loved, that you're not enjoying your life if you're spending all of it either chasing something or running from something. At some point you got to stop running, man. You got to.
If you don't face it, you're always going to run. You're never going to find true inner happiness. It's not a walk in the park for anybody, and I get that. We've all had our issues. Mine was 10 years of pill addictions. Once I broke all those walls down and got sober, I had to rediscover myself again, and I had to understand what it was like to truly love myself and find who I was as an individual. Through paganism, it gave me discipline. It gave me focus. It made me understand that, hey, and I'm using paganism because like I said, there's an umbrella of different things, right? There's different forms of it, right? So I looked at, as far as for witchcraft for me, was giving me discipline, giving me focus. If you're a witch, and anybody who's watching this is a witch, there's preparation on making spells. There's ingredients that's needed. There's concentration. There's focus. There's meditation. There's intent. All the tools that you need to better yourself. So when I got back into it, I started discovering all this thing. It started helping me and become a better me, because I was applying those disciplines of doing certain spells or certain rituals, applying it to my own personal life, and then it became a lifestyle, not just a fad.
And let's be honest, anyone out there who thinks that you don't have your own rituals, you're fooling yourself. I mean, we all have our rituals.
Everybody has rituals.
For sure. That's
Christians,
right. That's right.
Metalheads
100%.
have rituals.
That's right.
Metalheads have rituals.
For sure.
New album
100%.
comes out. What are you doing?
Right.
You're going to the store, or you're going to download the album. You're going to spend the next 2 hours, 3 hours, listen to this song.
That's right.
Over and over and over again. Drill in your head. That's a ritual.
That's right.
All the time.
Right. You may call it habits, or you may call it what you want, but they are indeed rituals, and they are the things that you lean on to get you through your shit. So, I mean, I think the better approach is indeed that, to own it, flat right, own it. This is the human experience, man. This is the obstacle. This is what it takes to overcome it. And
as we was born not knowing a thing. So we wasn't born knowing everything. The process of learning doesn't mean you get it the first time. It doesn't mean you get it the second time. It doesn't mean you get it the fourth time. It's the process of learning, right? You have to.
Shit, many die a fool.
Yes. And don't be hard on yourself. Cause bad things happen doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just means that you got to look at this situation in a different point of view and really see what's really happening here and see what you can learn from it. Then move on and not do the same things again.
trying to make sense of a fucking chaotic world in the first place is, you know,
insane.
Piecework as it is. That's right. You're trying to make sane that which is by definition insane. So, I mean,
human beings are chaotic beings. We are chaotic
in a chaotic universe.
And
we have
to learn
a chaotic existence in a chaotic home. You know what I mean? In a chaotic realm.
Up in the skies, you see stars, you see planets. None of that's controlled. That's just how it is. We are chaotic by nature. It's up to us.
Pure chaos.
The essence of chaos.
To train ourselves to be better people. We had, from day one, man was, let's say, hypothetically, caveman. There had to have been a process to evolve. Learning to speak, learning to do this and that, which took many failures. Creating the wheel. How many times do you think they made a square? How many times do you think they made an octagon shape? They finally said, wait a second, why don't we just turn it to be round? We have to have the failures is what define us. The failure is what makes us create and make a better us in a better place.
Man, no better words, brother. The failures are what fucking make us, you know, propel ourselves forward. You nailed it, brother. That's good shit.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We're going to talk more. You're going to have to educate me more, man, because good Lord, I got a stack of failures this fucking big. We'll talk about that later, though. You know?
So do I.
You know, if failures help navigate your course, if they help, you know, push that line through the sand to where you're going, then holy shit, I must be on my way.
Well, they say there's a saying that if everything worked out the first time, you wouldn't appreciate it, that what you're doing.
That's right, brother.
But if it wasn't for the failures, you won't appreciate your accomplishments.
But you can learn from all my failures.
Diamonds aren't made in a day, my friend. They're made over time through pressure. So
that's absolutely correct.
Fuck yeah.
100%.
Wise words from a wise man.
Yeah.
That's right, brother. Well, fucking dude, Sid, you're a diamond, my friend, and I appreciate you hanging out with me on Metal-O-Mania, dude. For real, it means the world to me.
I appreciate you having me on. Just real briefly, when I first came onto the scene, into the metal scene, the community as a whole, I looked for certain things to kind of. Facebook is saturated with shows like what we do, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when I first got on the scene, I started thumbing through Facebook and I was seeing what other people were doing and how their approach was. And a lot of them I just turned off or turned away. I was like, this is not interesting to me. And then I stumbled across your show, and I started watching your show, and I was like, this is put together really well. You guys have fun. There's a certain energy about it. So in a sense, I'm a firm believer of giving people their proper respect and proper due. So in a sense, what you see, so what Inner Demon is, what you see today, Chris, you had some part of that journey.
Dude, you're gonna make me blush if you say that shit to me. I'm
a firm believer of giving people the credit they deserve.
There's no cooler words ever you could say to me, sir.
Because I've seen a lot of shows and I've watched a lot of people's shows, and I'm not going to name all the shows off, but certain shows caught my eye, and I pay attention to certain things, editing, the quality, what the people are doing, what the hosts are doing, what are they being interactive? Is there a sense of excitement? Are there just two people sitting in front of a screen just talking and just to talk to take up time? What are they doing to better the community? And your show was one of the shows that I took some inspiration from. Helped me develop what I'm doing today.
Dude, I love you, man.
What you're doing, and bravo to Metal-O-Mania.
You say the nicest things.
Well, dude, and I have to be honest with you, right back at you then. That's come full circle because your show has become a show I follow and watch and fucking learn from and grow from, sir. That becomes a self-feeding thing, my friend. It's
all about fucking showing people the proper due, the proper respect of what they do. A lot of people don't do that, and they forget that. And it's important for people to know and be acknowledged for what they are doing with what they're showing, their brand, and what they're doing for the community. So it's important. People need to hear that. Even us, even myself, even yourself, there's times we feel discouraged. Like, are we doing enough, or is this worth the time? Is anybody even paying attention? But we keep persevering, we keep pushing through because we love what we do, and it shows through the shows, brother. So kudos to you and kudos to your wife for what you guys are doing.
Fucking back at you, brother, man. I mean that from the guts, dude, for real. And thank you for that. And thank you for that. For real, I appreciate that. Sometimes you do feel like, man, I might be doing this shit in a dark vacuum, man. Maybe nobody knows who this is, so I appreciate that for real.
If there's anybody out there, anybody, please.
People do notice, but people don't say it enough.
Well, now I got to play music and get out of here so I can go blush for 20 minutes, man. Fuck, I appreciate that, Sid. You kick ass, sir. Well, you just re-energized my batteries for 250 more shows. So there you go. Fuck yeah.
Winning.
I win here and I win there. Now what?
Well, man, before we do go out of here, though, man, I want to make sure people definitely know how to follow your show, how to not miss it, man. Tell them I don't want them to miss your next program.
On Facebook, you guys can catch us every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday with Talking with Demons. They all start at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. for you guys across the pond. And then on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, you can catch my show, The Delinquents Ball, on interdemonmedia.com. That starts at 4 p.m. every day of Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, all at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. for you guys in the UK. We got other shows as well. You guys can check out all of our lineup right here on Facebook, Interdemon Media, or /InterdemonRecords.com. Or you can check us out. Everything is on our page as well. We just launched a new magazine. It's our second episode, our second issue for the Interdemon magazine. My good buddy Bob Bones puts them together every month, and this is another superb magazine put together of some really great bands.
Fantastic.
You guys can check that out on our website as well.
Definitely.
Just go to the magazine and merchandise section of the website. Just click on that. You'll be able to click right on. You'll see the picture right there. Click on it. It's really cool. He's done a great job. You even get the sound effects of the page flipping.
Yeah, fuck yeah, that's cool. Shout out to Bob even, man. That's good shit.
I'm sitting at the pharmacy at the store listening, reading Metal Edge and Hit Parader magazine.
Yeah.
That was the idea. We wanted to bring that feeling back for us. So Bob's been doing that, and so a lot of cool things. We got shows on Interdemon Media every single day of the week. New shows.
Fuck yeah.
Every day, something new, something fresh.
You got a fan for life over here, Sid. Well, and let me ask you, will you come back and hang out with me again sometime in the future, sir?
Anytime you want, brother, I was there.
Fuck yeah, man. That kicks ass. That kicks ass. Well, there you go, Metal-O-Maniacs. Another kick-ass show in the books, and it's helped by my main man, Sid, Interdemon. Go and follow them, show them the love. But don't go quite yet, though, because we do have 2 songs we're going to play for you on the way out the door, ladies and gentlemen. And what those songs will be. First up is Final Cry, a band out of Germany. You know, it's funny. They started as kind of a heavy metal, regular old Judas Priest-y style heavy metal band a long time ago, but they are very much a melodic, thrashy death metal band now, and I love them even more for it. The brand new release is called The Everest. And it comes out on March 18th, so pre-order it now. We're going to play for you the title track from it, and then we're going to close the show this week with Deserted Fear. We're going to play Follow the Light That Blinds off of their brand new and most recent release, which is Doomsday. Comes out, as a matter of fact, it just came out, and you're going to want to pick that up. Another band out of Germany, too, so we're doing a 2-pack of Germany to close the show, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck yeah.
Germany.
We're doing a German style, and we're also doing an Interdemon style, man, and I encourage you all out there to continue doing an Interdemon style. Sid, thanks again, man. It means the world, brother, for real.
Thank you for having me on, buddy. Thank you. Great time hanging out with you, bro.
Hey, we'll do it again, sir. Count on it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for hanging out, ladies and gentlemen. When these 2 songs are over, please do shut out the lights and lock the door.
He's going to jack off and he's going to watch old Hill Street Blues episodes.
Yeah, and then he's going to
That's
cry.
what he does.
And
he's going to sob.
When long
Well, you told me not to look at you.
I borrowed some albums from a friend of mine. I was going to record them onto tape cassettes, and I had the wiring all backwards on my stereo and accidentally erased all his records. Gave him back these black blank things. Whenever I fill out an application, it says, in case of emergency, notify, I put doctor. What the hell is my mother gonna do? It's a good thing there's gravity, otherwise when birds died, they'd just stay right up there. Whenever I pick up someone hitchhiking, I always like to wait a few minutes before I say anything to them. Then I say, so, how far do you think you were going? Put your seatbelt on, I want to try something. I saw it in a cartoon, but I'm pretty sure I can do it.
It all looks the same. A baby in the dark. God, so don't touch that light. Follow the light that blinds. With
Well, because we're awesome. Yeah. We're good at what we do.
Yeah.
We do our own thing and we're good at it.
I don't need their validation.
No.
That's exactly right.
No, I'm happy with us. Totally.
I really wanted an award, though.
I was dying for one.
Ah, it was so nice.
Would have meant a lot.
Yeah.